thanks to all of you who are involved in these humanitarian efforts of helping families and helping children. It's a great honor for me to be here with you today to receive from the Voice for Adoption one of your Legislators of the Year award. Your organization, Voice for Adoption, plays a key role in advancing the cause of adoption in the field as well as in public policy here on Capitol Hill. I'm very pleased to visit with you on the subject of child welfare because that's what this issue is all about. It's critical that policymakers hear directly from children, parents, and relatives who work to create permanent, safe, loving homes. Your stories make a big difference because throughout my work on this subject, I've had an opportunity to listen to a lot of personal stories. And one that I always refer to is a 12-year-old boy named John who said this to me, quote, "You know how it feels when you've been standing up for a very, very long time and then you finally get to sit down? Well," he said, "that's how it feels to be adopted." End of quote. Let me say in my own words that if there's things that I remember from people about being adopted, and probably more from people 12 years old or a little older, they tell me over a long period of time, not just once. Over a long period of time I've been working on this legislation and these causes. They want permanence. Now I don't really use the word permanence, but a lot of times they express that I'd like to have a mom and a dad. Well, we all need to keep working together to meet those goals, to break down the barriers to adoption so that every child feels the relief that comes from a solid family and the relationship within that family. Now, we have made good progress in this area together, but there's more to be done, and we'll see that that more gets done. I'm glad to have helped in the development and the enactment of the Adoption and Safe Families Act, now 12 years old. This legislation rewarded states for finding adoptive families for foster children who were spending their entire life in care. Since its passage, adoptions have increased to more than 50,000 per year, and many states have doubled their adoption from foster care. I'd like to share with you some congressional action relating to child welfare, recent and not so recent. We have 4 years ago the Deficit Reduction Act, including funding for grants to train judges, attorneys, and legal personnel in child welfare cases, as well as grants to strengthen and improve collaboration between the courts and child welfare agencies. I'm pleased to have played a key role in advocating these additional resources. Funding for court improvement and collaboration grants are scheduled to end at the end of the next fiscal year. I will do everything possible to ensure that this critical funding will continue. In 2006, the Finance Committee, at that time, my party was in the majority, so I was chairman of that committee. We held the first hearings on child welfare in over a decade. Now, that was in 2006. We worked to enact bipartisan legislation, and the name of the bill was the Child and Family Services Improvement Act. This legislation improved programs aimed at helping troubled families, providing grants to states and community organizations to combat methamphetamine addiction and other substance abuse, and increase case worker visits for children in foster care. In 2008, we had a bipartisan approach, Republicans and Democrats coming together and producing a bill with a long title of Foster Connections to Success and Increasing Adoptions Act. This new law represents the most significant and far-reaching improvement to child welfare in over 1 decade. The new law provides additional federal incentives to states to move children from foster care to adoptive homes. It includes provisions and legislation that I introduced in May of that year to make it easier for foster children to be permanently cared for by their own relatives, including grandparents, aunts and uncles, and to stay in their own home community. Now, it sounds kind of common sense, doesn't it? But it wasn't easy to do before the passage of that legislation. This legislation makes all children with special needs eligible for federal adoption assistance. Previously, that assistance had been limited to children who are removed from just very low-income families. The new law also establishes new opportunities to help kids who age out of the foster care system at age 18 by giving states the option to extend their care and helping them pursue education and or vocational education. In conclusion, people like you and me have worked together for help improve the lives of some of the most vulnerable of children. And of course, our work isn't done. There's still more that needs to be done. Our child welfare system does not do enough to keep struggling families together. So I'm hopeful that we can continue to make progress together. Every child has the right to a safe and loving home, or in the words of that 12-year-old John that I've already spoken about, a chance to sit down after standing up for a very, very long time. I thank you for the award and want to continue working